steal our hope, to blind our eyes. He whispers fear, he wields the sword, but he cannot silence the living word. Every drop of blood becomes a seed, every broken heart cries out a creed. The gates of hell will not prevail, God's truth will stand, it will never fail. From martyrs to saints, their crowns are won, their witness shines like the rising sun. The enemy strikes, but heaven proclaims, the faithful are lifted, God knows their names. The apostles stood, though chains were near. They sang in prison, they cast out fear. And in our day, new voices rise. Charlie's faith still testifies. Every silenced word becomes a song, every trial proves where we belong. The Church of Christ cannot be destroyed, for death is swallowed up in joy. From martyrs to saints, their crowns are won, their witness shines like the rising sun. The enemy strikes, but heaven proclaims, the faithful are lifted, God knows their names. Will we bow to fear or stand unashamed? Will we hide the cross or bear his name? This is the hour, the choice we make.
Finding the right words to use for this song. I have you in mind, so it won't take so long. Love is that I find you, but you're here, and so I love you.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you today? All right, so I have some videos for us to watch. Yes, I do. And they're about femininity, of course, because currently I am talking to y'all about femininity. Biblical womanhood has lots of different aspects to it and lots of different categories. So I'm really glad that there is a YouTube channel called Fascinating Womanhood. It has everything I've been talking about and more. And I have the book and the workbook up on my shelf currently. And we will be going through that eventually. But right now we're currently going through, what are we going through right now? Which book are we on? Oh yes, The Excellent Wife. We're on The Excellent Wife right now. So we will continue on with The Excellent Wife. And then after The Excellent Wife, I think we're moving on to Fascinating Womanhood and then Living Virtuously. So we have a few more books to go through. And yeah, so today we're going to be going through those videos. There's two that we're gonna go through today, and I really want you guys to take notes and to understand and practice some of the things that you're going to hear about today, because this is fascinating. It's just fascinating, and it really does show basically everything that I've been talking about for the last 2 years now. Excuse me, almost 3 years consistently every single day. Excuse me, sorry. Wow, that was a lot in just a few seconds. Whew. Anyway, so what we're going to do is I have to dress appropriately today for the weather because it's going to be really hot. So I'm planning on wearing my clothes that I wear when it's really hot. And so I'm hoping that I look nice, but not too nice. You know what I mean? I don't like to draw attention to myself, if you know what I mean. I'm a married woman. I don't like drawing attention to myself. So I'm hoping that what I wear today doesn't draw attention, but it keeps me cool because I have like what? I have like a few autoimmune diseases, 4 to be exact. And so when it's hot, my body attacks me and it makes it very, very difficult for me to do things. So I got to be very, very careful about how much heat is going around. You know what I mean? And not just that, but I have to take the bus again today and I have to bring the boys with me today. And I'm hoping that that is easy. I hope that it goes well. And yeah, uh, other than that, I'm just going to be basically practicing what these videos have been saying. And I hope that you guys take notes and you guys practice these things. Whatever you decide you're going to do today, I hope that you know that know yourself enough to know that whatever you decide to do today, how much of it you'll be able to get done. And really consider whether or not it's worth trying to do all of it or just some of it. For me, I try to do things because I know it's hotter weather now. So I try to stick to one thing each day. And currently that's tidy the kitchen. But today I can't because I have to go out. So instead, I'm planning on attempting to just go out and do what I'm supposed to be doing today. And then come back and try and tidy the kitchen. But that's me saying I'm going to try. I'm not going to like set it in stone and then, set myself up for failure, basically, is what I'm saying. I'm not going to do that. And yeah, so currently I'm about to go and get ready to go out because I have to go out today. And I only have 3 hours to get ready. So dun dun dun, I have to start pretty soon. And so I'm going to leave you with these videos, take notes, and practice. And then later, when I'm back from my day, we will discuss how to behave in public situations. And I'm going to give you an example because yesterday there was a good example. I'll give you a good example, okay? And just stay tuned. Yesterday I had a situation in a public setting and I navigated it very well. I think I did a good job. I didn't draw attention. I didn't. Okay, I'll just tell you now. Okay, why not? Okay. So yesterday we were in Walmart. We were walking around and we were grabbing things. Now he was he was scared. Like Dennis-sama was scared that we were going to overspend, but I was not scared of that. And so I was like, we're going to see. Like it was a test to see if we could get everything we needed for 2 weeks flat. You know what I mean? We were shopping for 2 weeks and I needed to know if we could afford 2 weeks. So we we went shopping and he was telling me not to like put so many things in the cart, but I was like, I put this on the list, and he started getting snippy with me, and I was getting annoyed. I mean, I'm near my moon cycle, and sometimes I'm like hormonal, you know what I mean? Like I'm also in perimenopausal, and then on top of that, my moon cycle's on its way, and I'm just like zero tolerance, basically, you know what I mean? But I realized I'm in a public place. He's my husband. I don't want to dishonor him. I don't want to embarrass him. And so I told him, I said, Danasama, I'm not in the hormonal space right now to deal with your fears. I'm sorry. If you keep nitpicking and micromanaging me, I'm going to walk out. He then said, okay, fine. Then a little bit later, he started nitpicking again. And I was like, okay, I can't embarrass him. I said to him, baby, I can't handle this. Please stop, or I'm going to walk out. So so he shut it off again, and he didn't bother me the rest of the time. So um, it was it was a good you know what I mean? And I also did something that he was I know that he loves collecting Hot Wheels. I mean, see? And I let him put them on the wall. So I was walking, and I was incognitoli going towards where all the Hot Wheels was in Walmart. And he's like, so is it okay if I go and hunt for some? And I was like, well, I was walking down here for a reason. And then he started laughing, and he's like, you're sneaky. I'm like, I love you. And he's like, I know. And then he ran off to the Hot Wheels section. And it was a lovely way of letting him know I wasn't angry with him, and I wasn't like upset with him. It was me letting him know that, hey, we have days, you know, like we have days where we have disagreements. Doesn't mean that I'm gonna be mean and selfish and whatnot, you know what I mean? And so I really turned it around by doing that, knowing that he really likes to go Hot Wheels hunting. And I turned it around after two times that we kind of clashed heads. It was very quiet. Nobody knew about it, but me and him knew about it. And I wanted to let him know that no hard feelings, man. Like, I'm hormonal. I'm not, you know, I'm not perfect, but I loves you. I loves you more than anything. And I wanted to let you know that you can go Hot Wheels hunting. So I brought him down the aisle. And then he went, I got some fabrics, lace, excuse me, and even a yarn ball, which last night I rolled into yarn balls. So yeah, it worked out. It worked out perfectly. Anyway, guys, I gotta go because I have to go and get ready to leave, and I really need to do that. So I will catch you later on when I get back. Later for now.
Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Fascinating Womanhood channel. On our channel, we talk about everything that has to do with developing femininity and building strong, long-lasting, loving relationships. I am Sherry Lynn, and I am here with my mom, Dixie Andelin Forsyth. Hi.
Hi.
Today, we are talking about how to be the ideal wife. Now, not to be confused with being the perfect wife. We don't want to send that message that you need to be perfect. And by all means, we are not perfect either. We want to talk about the 5 most valuable ways you can be a great partner to your husband. We've done videos on the ideal woman. This is a little different though, because we wanted to get a little bit more nitty gritty with the wife. What do we mean before we jump into the 5? What do we mean by ideal other than not perfection?
It's a goal. It's a goal we work towards. I'm older than I'm sure any of you out there, and I'm still working on it. So it's perfectly fine that you're not there. You're not going to arrive in your lifetime. It's something to shoot for, and you'll get a lot of these things. You'll get really good at, but you don't have to be perfect. It's not required.
We talk to so many women and we hear so many different questions, and a lot of these things are compiled from that, as well as, of course, these are all principles from Dixie's book, Fascinating Woman, The Timeless Woman. If you haven't read that, we'll attach that book below so that you can check that out, as well as all of our other reading materials. So that is where our list comes from. It's from all of those different places. Let's jump into our list. So the first one is to become the relationship master.
I'm glad this is first, because to me, this is kind of it's one of our core powers. Being a relationship master includes planning things together, making your goals as a couple, diffusing tension. You know, we have those kind of things almost daily with not only our spouse, but other people. Making family a priority, whether it's your own kids or close family members, friendships, new connections, handing out compliments, and believing in people. This is what we're really good at once we kind of focus on it.
We're not saying that men are not good at this or men shouldn't be doing this. We're saying to be the master. And that's why I love that it's called the relationship master, because we believe in Fascinating Womanhood that in your marriage, you're both leaders, but you lead different things. And we really feel that women are best when they are the relationship leaders. And I love what you're talking about making goals as a couple and caring about people's feelings and making new connections. Of course, men do that too, but I think women tend to kind of spearhead it a little bit more. Some couples, it's a little different. What the most valuable thing about this point to me is that it's not about you doing everything with relationships. It's not like it's all on you, but it's more about this is something that you can spearhead and be more be more in charge of. And this really hit home for me when I first learned about this concept, because sometimes when you have a relationship and there's a bit of a tug of war going on with different parts of your life and your family, it can cause a lot of tension. And when you identify in your relationship, hey, I'm really good with relationships. I'm good with resolving conflicts with the kids. I'm really good in this area. Maybe he's better in this area. When you can identify those things, you can become an even better relationship master, and he will adore the fact that you are so great with the people around you and the relationships around you.
We're more sensitive to it. We do more nuanced things than they tend to. It's not that they're not good at relationships. They don't get some of the things that we do, and because we're just so much more sensitive.
Well, and we also are the ones that are more sensitive to the actual relationship itself with your man, meaning, is he unhappy with me or what's going on with us? We tend to notice those things quicker. In some cases, that's kind of sad because we tend to be kind of sad. But if you can learn to identify it as a strength, you'll actually be able to understand him better and to start learning all these Fascinating Womanhood principles. You learn what to do.
Part of that is in Fascinating Womanhood is in understanding men.
Yeah. And I love the part that you said about believing in people. I think that's a really, really big one. Believing in people and not looking for people's worst, but looking for their best and recognizing. Okay. The second one is be a meal magician.
It's not just about making meals, but making delicious meals, healthy meals, protecting your meal time, eating as a family, the importance of those things wherever you can, packing food, lunches. It's a big job to be a meal magician. And as you get better at it, you'll find that people will more often like to eat the food you made than what they can eat out that costs way more.
Right. This isn't just about being talented with cooking. It's about being smart with cooking and smart with food, smart with budgeting with food. This has to do with, that's why it's called a magician. It's kind of like you can make small little miracles every day happen. And food is just so important in every country, every language. Mealtime is important. It should be important. And even if, ladies, you have a man that's the cook or you're married to a chef and you're not as much the cook, you can still be a part of this by making mealtime pleasant. You could have the most fantastic meal ready to go, but then if you argue over this food or something is going on that's not positive in conversation while you're eating, the meal is ruined. So I think it's about also understanding the ambiance with your meals.
And I think it's good that it's second on the list, because once you're keeping in mind you're the relationship master, then you take that relationship master into food, which is we all have to eat to live. And you take it into that. So you bring your relationships into mealtime and having positive feelings and ideas about food.
Yeah, I love that positive relationship with food and positive relationship with the right foods. And okay, number 3 is creating a home that is irresistible. What does this mean?
This is so important. This is one of my pet favorite things. The world is stressful. We all know this. When you come home from wherever you are, whether it's a grocery store or a long day at work or whatever, when you walk in that door, your goal should be that you feel like there's a certain internal feeling of, I'm home. You're not going to get that if everything's turned upside down. It's creating a home and maintaining your home, making it peaceful, cozy, making nice spaces, figuring out, I need to repaint this room. What color would be good? Taking thoughtful time in what you do in your spaces.
Yeah, ladies, we've done videos on this. This is a really large topic, and I can attach some of the videos that we've done on this topic. But I think the main message here is that whether you work or not, maintaining a home is a job of the person that lives there, and curating your spaces for your family and for what you love and what makes all of you feel comforted and cozy. It's a big job. And I the hot mess mom thing, the thing that really bothers me about it is the women out there that think that women that have tidy homes that are really cozy and pretty and perfect are fake and they're not realistic. And that's what bothers me, is because I know for me anyway, I work really hard to get my home tidy. And it's not perfect by any means, but I work really, really hard. Sometimes I get up early in the morning to clean and stay up late at night to clean. And I think those ladies are basically saying that's a bad choice, that I'm trying to do those things and it's not worth it. But I think it is so worth it to make it as the best that you can. And I'm not saying perfect, but just the best that you can make it.
We want our families to feel loved and safe, and that they're free there to be creative, to dream about the future, to plan for the future, and that they don't automatically go in the basement of their minds, like we've talked about from my book, and are kind of low just because of the atmosphere. Another thing that's important about creating atmosphere in your home is that you have a place where people can laugh. There's laughter in your home instead of just arguing. And that's what goes back to number one about being the relationship master too.
One thing that I love that you've always had in your home is a room with no devices, no screens. You have areas to watch movies. And of course, you guys, we love movies, but you have an area in your home, and it's right when you walk in, that is basically inviting people to sit down and chat. I really love that. In fact, I'm so inspired by it, and I loved it so much as a kid that I have the same thing in my house. I have a room that's just devoted to sit down and invite people to talk. And you don't, of course, have to, but it's just there. And one thing too about this point about a home that is irresistible, it's the same thing with the meal magician. You can have the most spotless, most beautiful, you can hire maids and you can hire decorators, the most gorgeous home out there, and it's still not cozy or irresistible because of the feelings in the home. And it's full of contention, and maybe there's such a thing as too much discipline and too much, like you said, laughter is important. If you don't have that balance of positivity and humor and love in your home, it doesn't matter what your home looks like. So this isn't just about how your home looks. This is about the balance of how it feels and how it looks.
Right.
Okay, number 4 is loving yourself. What do we mean when we say loving yourself?
That includes, self-care, your appearance, health, develop talents, skills, maybe not to the fullest degree immediately, but working on hobbies. Hobbies are wonderful because they help you feel like you're successful at something small, relatively small anyway. Working on things you'd like to improve on as a woman, and like this whole video about being trying to be an ideal wife. Challenging yourself to grow and setting healthy boundaries with people.
And part of loving yourself is having boundaries. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. Not letting people be rude to you, call you names, heaven forbid, physically assault you, things like that. Fascinating Womanhood is not only about being sweet. It's about having self-esteem and having a certain amount of spunkiness.
Yeah, I think, when it comes to we're talking about being an ideal wife, we're trying to be better. Why do you think men are especially going to love you and adore you if you love yourself?
Because you can't love anybody more than you actually have any self-esteem. And so you won't understand them better. The more you take care of yourself and your own mental health, your physical health, the more you'll have to give. They won't necessarily know what you're doing or why you're doing it, but they'll see it. But loving yourself means respecting yourself. And that includes boundaries and all the things we mentioned.
Yeah, I remember Dad said something to me years ago that really stuck with me. He said, a person that's always trying to grow and challenge themselves, now that's a valuable person. A person that's always the same and stays the same and just stays in their comfort zone all the time, I worry about that person. I worry about their well-being. I worry about their happiness. I worry about how they're doing. And that always stuck with me, is like, I should always be challenging myself to grow and change. And I think that's the spirit, definitely for me, at least, behind this one, is just always trying to improve. And it doesn't mean shooting for perfect all the time. It just means, how can I compare myself to me and beat that and, improve that, not comparing yourself to others, because that could get you into a negative place. This is about you comparing yourself to yourself.
Right.
Okay. And number 5, the very last tip that we have for you is romancing him. What do we mean when we're talking about that?
Okay. This includes date nights. I'm a big fan of date nights. We've been married 53 years. We do it every week. Intimate time, physical touch in a really romantic way, and sometimes just a real loving way, celebrating all the little things, like anniversaries are not little, but doing something in a special way. I'm a big fan of our romantic journal, love journaling. It allows you to treasure hunt for all these things. It helps to keep it alive. The only reason people say romance dies is because they let it.
Yeah.
They let it. They start taking the other person for granted, and they just start letting it die. And you have to keep it alive. And it's not that hard, and it's fun. And also protecting your alone time with him.
Yeah, I don't know about the rest of you ladies, but I know in my relationship, I really have to fight for this with 2 young kids, and I don't get a lot of this. So I have to be really creative to have alone time with my husband. And I think there's a lot of ladies that give up. Sometimes you might just have to make, after the kids are in bed, that time kind of special by thinking of him. And you have the ability to fight for the romance in your relationship, and you can definitely do it. And don't underestimate how amazing that time, even if it's just snuggling and watching a movie, how that can actually rid you of arguments that might come down the road or hurt feelings. Romance is so important, and it's not just about intimate time. It's about quality alone time.
As a final note, just remember, you will hear people throughout your life from time to time say that romance is supposed to end and you settle into this comfortable relationship where you just really respect each other. Don't believe it. It's nonsense. Many relationships keep romance alive your entire married life, and you can die adoring each other. And there's no feeling on earth better than that I know of. The thing that comes second to it is the day your babies are born, and maybe your wedding day. But other than that, you can have this romance follow these principles of Fascinating Womanhood, because they're principles, not techniques.
Okay, so that's our list. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you have any ideas or comments down, you can drop them down below for us. We'd love to hear from you. If you have additional things that you think would belong on this list, we'd also love to hear those. Don't forget to check out all the links attached to this video, where you can find Dixie's books, workbooks, all the places you can find us on social media. We are here every week, so don't forget to check back with us and hit subscribe so that our channel will grow. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye. You can't be a person with no moral code and have a Fascinating Womanhood, deeply romantic marriage. You just can't.
It's not just about being on time. It's how you feel and how others feel when you're on time.
There's a lot of different kinds of self-discipline, and some of them are kind of smaller things that relate to charm.
And what do you think is the difference between being charming and being ladylike? Hello everyone, welcome back to the Fascinating Womanhood channel. On our channel, we talk about everything that has to do with developing femininity and building strong, long-lasting, loving relationships. I am Cherry Lynn, and I'm here with my mom, Dixie Andelin Forsyth. Hi.
Hi.
So today we are talking about ladylike behavior. We're actually excited to introduce a mini series of ladylike behavior. We were going to just do one video on ladylike behavior, but then we started discussing it and it turned into several different huge subjects. And we thought we might want to just break it up a little bit for you all so that it's really easy to understand, and you can definitely take a lot more away from it when we break it up a little bit more. Today is our first video on ladylike behavior, and we are discussing self-discipline. We talk about this a little bit in your book. Can you explain a little bit about this section of your book?
It's in the chapter on charm, and it's one of the aspects of charm. Initially, you just think, ooh.
I don't want to talk about that.
No, we need to be more self-disciplined with dieting and all kinds of stuff. There's a lot of different kinds of self-discipline, and some of them are kind of smaller things that relate to charm. In being self-disciplined, it means you don't just say, well, I felt like saying it, so I did. The whole idea of charm has to do with sensitivity to others. In other words, can you be a hermit on the top of a mountain in a cabin and be charming? Well, it kind of involves other people.
So why does this relate to Fascinating Womanhood and growing a romantic relationship?
Everybody loves a charming person. We all do. We can probably think of either people we know or characters in books or movies that are charming. Have you ever thought, I wish I was more like that? I mean, I do. I don't know that I've ever met a perfected charming person, but there's people with different aspects of charm. And when you're dating, when you're married, this is a valuable thing to know, is to be charming. Charm is definitely a part of it. And plus, it'll help you to be happier. charming people are happier because they're almost always well thought of.
And what do you think is the difference between being charming and being ladylike?
They're kind of connected because ladylike is men can be charming too, but we certainly don't want them to be ladylike. It's in a way that's unique to us as women. Ladylike, some people get offended with that, anything to do with femininity or ladylike today, but that's not what we are at Fascinating Womanhood. We recognize the power and strength of our own femininity.
So good. Okay, so we are going to talk about 3 main points within ladylike behavior relating to self-discipline. So the first one is being on time.
Now, that is harder for some people than others. Some people are just like, I can't stand to be late. And they just say, I have no problem with this. But some of us do have a problem with it. The reason it's important is because it shows respect for others. If you're invited to someone's house for dinner and you're 15 or 20 minutes late, it's rude. It's not only not charming, it's actually rude, especially if you develop a habit of it. But we live in a time where most of us have cell phones, and there's no reason we can't call if the traffic is bad or something and call and say, I'm really sorry, this has happened. I'm going to be so many minutes late. We have so many options nowadays. Most of us don't miss airline flights because they will leave. But some of us are late for meetings. And if you say you're going to do something, do it. And if you cannot do it, show the courtesy of getting in touch with the person and say, I'm running a little late. That shows you care.
You know, I have to tell you too, I live in a very big city. I don't know about anybody else out there that lives in big cities, but it's kind of normal where I live. This is going to sound crazy to people that don't live in this, but I live in an area where it's normal to be about 5 minutes late. Even in a workplace setting, the office I used to work in, 15 minutes late was like kind of considered a grace period because of traffic and things like that. And the only reason why I'm bringing this up is because you might live in a life where being on time isn't really expected out of you, or it's normal to be late. And I just want to say really quickly that it's not just about being on time. It's how you feel and how others feel when you're on time. That is a huge difference. And I don't know about you all, but when I'm on time, or perhaps even a little early, I just feel like my whole day is different. And I feel like, going back to the ladylike thing, I feel so much more at peace in my heart with my day organized. I feel upstairs, as we like to say in Fascinating Woman. I feel like I can do this. I'm on time. It's not to say that you can't be late. Everyone's going to be late for things once in a while, but that feeling of being on time is really important.
You live in a situation like you do, where it's kind of almost culturally okay or expected to be late. I thought, what a great opportunity to establish that you'll stand yourself out apart, and it'll be easier to be, people will notice that person's on time.
I agree. And I think as we're talking about this subject of being ladylike, this isn't just about what appears to others. This isn't just about surface things. And I think a lot of people hear self-discipline and they say kind of what you mentioned earlier about, like, weight loss or whatever. This isn't just about that surface stuff. This is about your mental state and where you are inside, because that kind of sets the tone for everything else.
Well, what kind of a reputation do each of us want? I'd like to be known as somebody who does what I say I'm going to do. And that includes being on time. When someone does that to me, I appreciate that.
I just want to add lastly that there's this social norm of being fashionably late, and it refers to you kind of like looking more polished or whatever, and that's why you're late. And I just want to say that I don't think that that's something to be proud of on a regular basis. But you know what I mean? That whole fashionably late thing, people I think are starting to kind of become proud of it and say like, oh, I can be late because I can just say that, the better ones come late or something. There's all these sayings about being late and how it's kind of cute. And I don't think it's cute on a regular basis.
Are the people who are on the other end of it, do they say, oh, they're fashionably late? Isn't that cute when you've worked all day on a meal? I don't feel that way. And it develops our character. And it's not that hard.
Well, a lot of people think that being on time is perfection. I don't think that that's the message here. The message isn't strive for perfection. The message is to be self-aware of the people around you and how you being late might affect them. And if that means that you're late every once in a while, but you say something, as you mentioned, you say something about you being late, and then you're just striving to be closer to be on time. I think that's
for being late. I have a cousin who, if he comes over and he's like 5 minutes late, he always texts, I'm so sorry, I'm going to be 5 minutes late. And I haven't even thought about it.
It's not a big deal.
How that makes me feel really great too.
So that's a
Anyway,
good one. And I'm glad we discussed that because you might hear it being on time and you might be like, oh, yeah. But really discussing it, I think it's really helpful to hear all the little pieces that go with it. Okay, the second one is work ethic.
I'm so grateful that my mother showed me such a great work ethic. And by work ethic, I mean ability to get things done. My mother would, if she needed to, if she wanted to get certain things done in a day, she would get up an hour or 2 hours earlier to do it. She wouldn't just say, I don't have time. If she said she was going to get something done or do it by a certain date, if she didn't, she physically couldn't accomplish it. There was a storm or something that prevented her, but she had an impeccable work ethic. And I always admired that. Now, if you don't have one, you can develop one. It means you don't just intend to do things and hardly get anything done. You do what you say to yourself, even you're going to do.
When I hear work ethic, I think of lots of different things. I think of an actual professional work ethic, like where you're working outside the home and you have a job and you're expected to do these things. But then I think about what I consider to be an even tougher part of that, which is your discipline when no one is telling you that you have to really do anything. And to me, that one is the toughest one. Those of you that watch our channel, I worked a lot longer than I've been a stay-at-home mother. When I became a stay-at-home mother, I could not believe how that pressure of being at a job versus being at home. There's such a different balance. The shift is so different. And to maintain that sense of, I got to get all these things done when no one's really going to hold me accountable. Oh my gosh, it was just so difficult for me to understand at first. Everyone's different, right? Everyone's going to have a different way of handling that. Some women are really organized naturally, and they just know how to organize their day, and they just get how to pull everything together. And then there's others, probably the majority of us, that doesn't come natural to you, and you really have to figure that out. And there's lots of different systems that you can follow. There's a thousands of different people on YouTube and Google that you could figure out how to get nitty gritty. And we're not going to get into exactly how you might organize your day. But the point is that part of being ladylike and having this charm and is part of figuring out how to accomplish a lot of things and pushing yourself to be better. That's going to be different for everybody. But I just think it's so interesting to think about both sides of it. There might be ladies that work outside the home and then they come home and they have a hard time shifting that. That could be a whole other subject.
Have you ever known, I think of situations. Have you ever known someone, I'm thinking particularly of a church situation, because that's when I haven't worked outside the home for a long time. So, but I am involved with other people regularly in that situation. If there's somebody in church who is known for, if they're asked to put on a party or a dinner,
Yeah.
they go the extra mile. They don't just throw out some bologna sandwiches and say, fine. That's not a real good work ethic. The people that people admire the most are the ones that really put stuff in. They take the responsibility seriously. They try to do a good job.
Yeah.
They don't just try to do the minimal. And so when you talked about work ethic at work, what's expected of you versus at home, and church is the same way. Church is always volunteer for these kind of things like parties. So if you don't have to, and you have to develop a reputation for yourself of doing a good job at whatever you do, doing your best at whatever you do, even if you've never done it before and you think it's probably not going to be that great, when you put effort into things, how much people appreciate that you put effort in. If I know I have to do something at 9 o'clock in the morning, for example, I have to be somewhere. I'm not the kind of person that wakes up like Bob does and bounds out of bed. I kind of wake up slower. So I set the alarm clock for a little earlier than it actually takes to get ready, because I know me. I know that I'm not going to be ready on time if I don't get up a little earlier. So it's like I've got to take responsibility for me needing that other time to just sort of gradually wake up and maybe putter around for a few minutes. That's part of my work ethic is if I'm going to do this and be kind to myself here, no, I don't bound out of bed very naturally, then I get up earlier.
What I'm hearing you say is you challenge yourself and you don't allow some of the things that are not easy for you. You don't allow those things to consume you and say, well, I couldn't do that because I was just tired. Of course we all get tired. Of course we do, but you are challenging yourself and you're challenging that part of you that you might struggle with, the morning thing. you're not a morning person, but you're going to challenge it. There's some people out there that are not night people and they want to go to sleep and it's bedtime and I'm going, but maybe you challenge yourself and you take that time, 15 minutes at night to clean. It's not even just about cleaning. Work ethic could be so many things. It can be balancing your crazy life and all the things that you're trying to do, but are you pushing through those things that are tough for you? That to me is ultimately just so admirable in a woman, that she can be flexible.
As you grow, it increases your self-esteem. Isn't that what we all want? If you've ever had a day where you feel like I really got a lot done,
Yeah.
it feels good to have a good work ethic. It isn't just a head thing. It feels good. And so as you say, well, if you think I don't have a good work ethic, try doing it just tomorrow.
Yeah, I think that the work ethic subject is just very misunderstood. And I think the balance of it can be really tough to figure out all that balance, but just constantly challenging yourself and the things that you feel challenged with. And learning more about balancing your schedule and your life will just make you inside feel so much better. Being a lady isn't just about what it looks like. It's about how you feel inside, and your work ethic is a big piece of that.
And the whole idea is for you to be happier and have better relationships.
Okay, the third one is your moral code. Why does that go under discipline?
Sometimes people let their moral code slide when they get around a particularly strong personality who may say, oh, it's no big deal, just do it. It's who's to know? And you can let your moral code slide. Just the temptation to be dishonest or get away with something, just what you go against what you believe in, your core values and beliefs. It takes discipline to keep your moral code straight, no matter what life throws at you. Now, it may be that you can challenge your moral code. Maybe you believe something, you find out, oh, that wasn't entirely true. But that isn't because you're tempted to downgrade it, is what we're really talking about. Like if you don't believe in being dishonest, don't then cheat on your taxes because someone shows you a loophole. You know what I mean? That you probably will get away with, but you may not. Just that's going against your own moral code.
Yeah, and I think we all know those people that are they don't mean to be, but they're a bit of chameleons in life. You know, that when they're around a certain group of people, they are influenced and they're just very easily influenced by others. And it can probably be the hardest for those types of personalities to maintain a moral code. And, you know, we could go on and on about why they might be going through that and why they might be doing that. But in relation to talking about ladylike behavior, a lady that you are going to respect that has great discipline is going to have a strong moral code. She is going to stick with it and not be perfect, but consistent.
And they're basic things. The moral code isn't that my room is vacuumed every single day. That isn't really a moral code. Moral codes are basic things like honor, honesty, reliability, integrity, and those sorts of things that fit in every situation. There's exceptions to some things where you have to be able to know your moral code well enough to know this is one of those times. But if you aren't sure you have one, what I would do is to sit down and think about, what do I believe in? What are my core beliefs? And if necessary, write some down. What do I believe in? What do I believe is right? What is moral? What am I willing to stand up for, stand against, and be that person?
When I hear moral code, I think of those really deeper subjects, those deeper things that you don't necessarily just share with everyone how you feel about it, but you live this. You live this by example. If you don't believe in, I don't know, a certain amount of bad language, you stick with that and you don't go there. And if you believe in, have a lot of spiritual beliefs, you don't teeter-totter between your beliefs, you stick with it. And you know, this again might sound like you're striving for perfection, but it's not. It's about being aware of the things that affect you internally so deeply. And these three are such, I think, the most important ones: the punctuality, the work ethic, and it's almost like it goes deeper and deeper. The punctuality, the work ethic, and the moral code. Those are really tough. And there's a reason why they're part of discipline. It's because they're tough.
Yeah, that's what discipline. That's what discipline implies. It's not not always easy, but at the same time, they make you, like we said with the others, they make you feel good. They help with your self-esteem. They help with your relationships. You can't be a person with no moral code and have Fascinating Womanhood, Deeply Romantic Marriage. You just can't. Some things do not work together. And so we're giving you these bite-sized pieces of this, knowing you're not going to be perfect, because we aren't. I don't know anyone who is, but these are goals to shoot for and try to correct ourselves. If we have a moral code and we get a little off, we can correct it and say, I don't really believe in that. I don't believe in treating people that way. So I'm going to not do that anymore. And you can correct yourself, and you don't have to tell people your moral code. You just have it.
Right. You just have one. Yeah. And you live it. Yeah, exactly.
Try to live it as best you can.
If you're struggling with any of these things, I just have to say, definitely read Fascinating Womanhood if you haven't already. We have a lot of books. We have workbooks. The workbooks will help you. We have exercises in the workbooks. And then just coming here with us and being on this forum. We have a Facebook forum. We are on Instagram. Ask us questions. We can become more connected. I think part of this community on the internet is just so helpful right now in the world that we live in, where we can't spend as much time with people. There's a lot of crazy things going on in this world about not allowing us to be together face to face right now. And it's so great to have this. So you have any questions out there? Maybe you don't know how to get started with some of these things. Drop us a comment down below. We would love to hear from you. This is part of a series. We're going to do more subjects about being ladylike, being more ladylike. What do you want to hear from us in future episodes? We'd love to hear from you. What your questions are about becoming more ladylike. Drop those down below too. We are here every week, so hit like and subscribe. You'll help our channel grow, and you will know when our videos are out and they're brand new and they launch for the first time.
That's it.
See you.
Yo, y'all. We had a very crazy, scary thing happen. Okay. So, my son was making pizza pops in the microwave. And then he was pulling them out or something like that. Anyway, there was a pair of scissors on the counter. The scissors fell onto his left foot, stabbed his foot, and it was spurting blood. I don't even know how I don't even. Anyway, Donna-sama reacted very quickly, grabbed his foot, laid him down, and lifted his foot straight up in the air and put pressure on it right away. Told me to call 911. I did. So we called 911. They came. They told us they're going to look at it because we were told not to look at it. So they said we have to look at it. So they took the cloth off and they took the sock off. And it was just a little tiny hole. Very small hole.
That means he lost a lot of blood.
He lost more than what should have been for a tiny hole like that.
Yeah, because if there's a tiny hole and a lot of blood comes out, that means you lost basically half of your blood.
No.
I'm joking,
Don't scare him like that, Logan. Anyway, it squirted, okay? It squirted. It was a tiny hole that it squirted. I never seen that happen before. Anyway, so it was a tiny little hole. They wrapped it up, clean, wrapped it up. Told us he doesn't need to go to the hospital for stitches. He's fine. He didn't want to go anyway. So we just got to keep an eye on it, make sure it doesn't get infected, which is easy because I'm pretty good at that. And yeah, so man, you guys have no idea. It traumatized me, man. It traumatized me in a whole new way. I was shaking, shivering, and I was like, I don't know. It was like I think I disassociated, to be honest. I think I disassociated because I don't know how I got through. I'm pretty sure I disassociated because it was like I was not me for a moment. You know what I mean? Not until the paramedic said that he's okay. He's fine. He can stay home. When the paramedic said that, it was like I could breathe. I've never been that scared in my life for my little man. Well, that's not true. When he was a month old, he had a bacteria blood infection, and I thought he was going to die. So that's not true. I've been scared like that before. But it was a different kind of a pain this time. That time I thought he was going to die because they were telling me he was going to die. And then this time I was thinking, oh my God, what if his foot is like really, really badly, like, messed up? We have to go to the hospital, get stitches. And what if he has to have them on both sides of the foot? Oh, my poor little man.
I was like, oh my God, did it go through to the other side?
I know. I was like worried about that too. I was thinking about that too.
And then
No, it was just a little tiny hole. I'm so glad it was just a tiny little hole. Like, oh my God. You should have seen us. Me and Johnny were shaking. We were so scared for him. It was terrifying. Anyway, he got his foot propped up on some pillows. He's got wrapped up. He's fine. Actually, he's a lot calmer and a lot collected compared to me and Anasama. That's for sure. And I need to go to bed early, so that's why I'm doing this video right now, because I'm literally going to be taking my last GABA in 9 minutes, and then I'm going to bed, because I just need to go to bed after what happened today. Literally. I'm still a little shaken from it. I'm much calmer, but my body's now like, excess adrenaline right now. So my body's shivering and shaking a bit. Still a bit trembly. It's only because my poor baby, like my poor little baby. Because he's my baby, like he's the little baby of the family. Man, that was scary. Don't forget, baby, 8 minutes. All right, y'all. I'm going to be heading to bed pretty soon, so I wanted to have a wonderful talk with you guys about the videos that I shared with you. However, I'm really not in the mood because of what just happened. I hope you can understand. Please keep Lucas in your prayers, that he doesn't get any kind of, he's he's, 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 infections. So please pray for him that he does not, and that I can keep it from, Ooh, you know what I should do? Tomorrow when I check it, put salve on it. That'll keep it from getting infected for sure. I gotta find the salve somewhere here. Yeah, I have to look for the salve. When I find that salve, it's going on his foot. That's for sure. Okay, so I'm going to go because I got to look for the salve. Love y'all. Hope you had a wonderful Tuesday, and I will catch you back here tomorrow. Later for now. Bye.
the ultimate sign. Love poured out, eternal divine. He showed us the way, the cross to embrace, to live as his own, unashamed by his grace. In a culture of death, we choose to speak life with faith unshaken. With courage we rise. The enemy trembles when truth resounds. For what God has anointed, he has crowned. God endowed, God crowned. We will not be shaken, we will stand our ground. Heaven's witness, earth resounds. God endowed, God crowned. I see it in Erica, I saw it in him. A faith unbroken, light that won't dim. Living examples of truth proclaimed. The legacy burns in Jesus' name. This is the moment, hell's gates shake like Christ's own blood for our soul's sake. Death defeated, our path is clear. God's kingdom advances, his reign is near. God endowed, God crowned. We will not be shaken, we will stand our ground. Heaven's witness, earth resounds. God endowed, God crowned. God endowed, God crowned. We will not be shaken, we will stand our ground. Heaven's witness, earth resounds. God endowed, God crowned. Husbands and wives in covenant stand. Children of promise held in his hand. Turning points fire, a torch reborn. In Christ's own power, new saints are born. God endowed, God crowned. Every faithful life is head They told me I was outdated, just a shadow of the past. Said long skirts and shawls don't shine, they'll never last. But I don't dress for fashion shows or this world's fleeting.